good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast with your girl Toya, and this episode is called Do You Trust Yourself? So, I was recently asked if I trust myself, and I don't think that's the first time I've been asked that question. Actually, I'm pretty sure that it's not the first time I've been asked that. But for whatever reason, this time has stuck out to me. And I think it's been a little over a week since I was asked this. And my response was, I don't know. And I think I said I didn't know because I didn't believe at the time that I understood what it meant or look like to trust yourself. And I think that was a part of my response too. It was like, I don't know, or I don't know if I'm sure what that looks like or what that means to trust yourself. And so as I've been thinking about that, I've recently made the decision actually before I say the decision that I made, I finally was honest with myself in the fact that I don't trust myself. And so I was also able to kind of sit with what that meant or how I came up with the certainty that I didn't trust myself. And it's because I oftentimes overthink everything. Every decision I want to make, everything that I want to do, I second guess it. I overthink it. I think about how it will make someone else feel. I'm always like weighing out the pros and the cons of the smallest things. And I think that inability to literally decide on the simplest things kind of showed that I didn't trust myself. And when I say deciding, I'm not at all, well, I'm not going to say not at all, but I'm not just talking about life decisions. I'm not just talking about the decisions that I make within my diet or working out or life-changing experience or if I should move to another city. I'm not talking about those larger things. I'm talking about simple things as like what I want to eat, or if I'm driving home from work and I get the sudden urge to I want to go take a walk by the water. And then I ponder on that thought and I'm like, but I just left work. I should rest and this, that, and the other. And if I do this, or if I want to read a book, it's like I need to read a certain type of book, or I need to do this. Or if I'm scrolling on my phone and not even for a long time, I'm overthinking I shouldn't be on my phone. I need to not be on social media because social media is bad and it makes you feel this way about yourself. So I've decided to literally just do what comes to my mind. If I am sitting at home and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I really have a taste for tacos. Get up, put on your shoes, get in your car and go get you some tacos. Or if I want to organize something in my house, that's something that's been on the top of my brain, is just organizing. And it's like I should get up and organize the bathroom cabinets, but then I'll sit there and think about, if I'm tired, do I really feel like it? That's the question I ask myself all the time when I make a decision or if something comes to my mind. I'm always like, well, do I really want to, or do I really need to, and do I? And I have been pushing myself to just do the first thing that comes to my mind. And I think that is trusting myself, especially while sometimes still having goals. And so I am also finding that in being more trusting of myself and the thoughts that I have, it's also forming or showing self-love. And you all know this year I'm kind of focusing on self-awareness with love. And I think this really ties into that, because I know that even if I have a decision, like the other day I was in between schools for work, and I was like, I really have a taste for some caramel cake. Or no, that's not what happened. I'm lying. I was going to get me some fried okra and a jalapeno pepper. That's been my little thing lately. So if you haven't tried fried okra and a jalapeno pepper and the pickled jalapenos, fire. Anyway, I'm in there waiting on my little fried okra and jalapeno pepper. And I was like, dang, those caramel cakes look really good. And I was like, I want one. And then I toyed with the thought like, maybe I don't want it. Am I just wasting money? I don't want to do this. And it wasn't about like health, because of course some people can say that can lead you to make decisions. And it's like, no, I trust myself to know that me wanting this caramel cake isn't detrimental, because this isn't something or a way that I eat all the time. But I went ahead and bought it, and I ate a little bit of it, and I saved some for later, which I'm probably about to eat after this, the other half. But that trust in myself that you can have a piece of cake every now and then. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to mean that you're not still conscious of your health habits. That doesn't mean that you don't love your body. You know what I'm saying? Because you make one choice, but trusting myself to do that. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before last, I decided to do a 3-day smoothie cleanse. I did have to eat one meal, y'all. Because baby, I've been struggling with my iron and anemia. If you know, you know. But just doing the smoothies, I was feeling really dizzy and lightheaded and weak. So I did eat some vegetable curry, though I didn't eat any meat. But either way it goes, I did 3 days of smoothies to kind of detox my body a little bit, taking vitamins every day. And although it was 3 days, I was proud of myself, right? That was me trusting myself, trusting that that's what my body needed. When, yes, I could have stopped while I was working and got something quick to eat, spent some money on food every single day. But no, I went to the store, I got everything I needed for 3 days worth of smoothies, and I did that, and I'm very proud of that. And so that's another way of trusting yourself. I was trusting that I was doing what was right for me when I could have very well binged out and told myself like, girl, you don't have to do this. Who's to say you got to be healthy? You can eat what you want. You know what I'm saying? So no, knowing that that's what my body needed. Some days I'm realizing that I don't want to eat extremely unhealthy. So I'm really conscious of what I eat and just allowing myself to let my decisions flow and to act in the moment, because I trust that I love myself already. I trust that I won't put myself into harm, and I trust that I won't do anything to my body that is going to be detrimental to it in the process. I trust myself to recommit. I still have my goals in mind. And also when I even think about dieting, because like I mentioned, sometimes we could confuse always saying yes to your first mind with not listening to your boundaries and the things that you need to yourself. But I did it the other day also, because I think this was actually yesterday. I came home from work and I was like, I want to make me a burger, because I had did an Impossible Burger the day before, and then there was still some ground beef because I made Bay a regular burger. And so that day, yesterday, I made myself a regular burger, and I was eating it, and like halfway through the regular burger, my body was like, yuck, we don't want to do this. And so I literally stopped eating it. That's trusting that decision, when I could have very well in my mind on a regular day, when I'm not being conscious or self-aware of how I'm showing up in my own mind, I would have been like, girl, you cooked this for nothing. You wasting food. You knew you shouldn't have did that. And why would you make it in the first place? When it was really just trusting my body and saying no. And then after that, I went and made me a nice little smoothie that it was a smoothie that I had during my detox. And that's another thing too, that through this process of trusting myself, I'm learning also, even the things that aren't good. So after I had that burger and my body just felt gross, I felt very weak. I felt a little like I had a little headache. My body knew that, hey, you remember when you detoxed and you did that smoothie cleanse? That one particular smoothie recipe was really good for your digestion, was really good for your stomach. So I went and made myself that smoothie. But if I had never trusted myself to make that smoothie cleanse decision, I wouldn't even have a lesson or something to go back to fix when I make a mistake in the moment. And so that's what it is when you have to trust your decision making, trust that everything will work out in its own good, because I wouldn't have known, like me eating that regular burger and getting sick, that was probably me going against a decision that I shouldn't have made. Now I know that most likely than not, I'm going to prefer to have an Impossible Burger. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a lesson that we can kind of navigate and move through our lives with, is understanding that every decision that you make, do what feels good to you, do what's authentic to you, and you will then learn yourself. You will then learn from the results of what you decide to do, what is good for you and what is not good for you. You'll learn what you are willing to do and try and continue to cultivate within yourself, and you will also learn the things that are not for you, the things that you will no longer do, that you will no longer try. And so trusting myself right now, and you all, I push you, if you struggle with trusting yourself, if you struggle with overthinking, decision making, I challenge you to do this same thing. Because I think my belief is when we restrict something or we are really hard on ourselves about depriving ourselves of something, we're not leaving room to really grow. We're not really leaving room for the exploration of the mind, for the learning of the body, for the learning of the soul. So if you struggle with overthinking and decision making, I challenge you to say yes. Say yes to your mind. Say yes to the things that come up for you, and be very clear. These are the positive things. I am not invoking this for people who got some type of weird agendas and all types of strange shit going on. No, I'm not talking to y'all weirdos. I am being completely motivational to those friends who know that they have goodness inside of them. To those people that are looking for and searching for light, this is for you. Trust yourself. Don't worry about, and something I'm trying to push myself from is social media. But instead of forcing myself and saying like, I'm just not going to be on social media at all, I've told myself like, okay, when you realize that you are scrolling, get off. When your mind doesn't even register what you're looking at on your phone, get off. And that's been so good, because there have been times where I'm just aimlessly scrolling and I'll be like, man, I could be doing something else, or I don't need to be doing this. And then I'll be like, but whatever, I don't got nothing else to do, and stay on there. No, I challenge myself that when I get to that point, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I closed out the app, my phone, and then I look around me. Like, what's around me that I can do? What book do I want to read next? What in my house can I organize or rearrange or straighten up? And so trusting yourself, I am giving you all this challenge to trust your thoughts, trust your decisions, trust what your soul and your spirit is telling you to do, and follow that. Stop restricting yourself when you really should be giving yourself the opportunity to explore more of who you are. And then once you feel like you've gotten into this trust within yourself, then you can make a decision on what it is that you need to commit to. Because if you're trusting yourself and every time you have an urge, but also trusting yourself comes with listening to the reaction. Listen to what you decide. So if you are in your trusting yourself era and every day your mind is telling you like chicken wings, pizza, French fries with cheese, and then you realize, pay attention to how your body feels. So yes, trust your decision making so that you can ease that burden from your mind of overthinking. But then listen to your body and be honest with how your body, how your environment, how you are reacting to the decisions that you're making. And then that is where and how you set your boundaries. Okay? Who knows? I may expound on this later, because this is something that I really am still exploring and trying to figure out more in-depth things about what this trusting yourself really means. But I challenge y'all to do the same. And I know I've been gone, and I'm not even going to say, again, this is me trusting myself. I am trusting myself to record podcasts when my spirit tells me to. I'm not psyching myself out of it anymore, but I'm also not giving myself limits and parameters and being hard on myself, rather, I should say. I'm not making myself do something, right? I'm figuring out my flow of podcasting, and then from there, I'm going to be more consistent in the schedule once I figure out what works for me. What times a day do I find that I'm more urged to record podcasts? What days of the week? Is it like a weekend thing when I feel more apt to record? Is it on a Tuesday after work? You know what I'm saying? That allowing myself to decide and trust in the decisions that I make. Okay? That is when you really love yourself. That is when you really trust yourself. That is when you practice self-awareness. That is when you grow. And if it's one thing I'm about, it's about growth. I don't care what it looks like in your life for you to grow. I just want you to trust that you always are. All right? Until next time, I love y'all. Bye.